Before boxing, who was I? Well, that was a long time ago. I started boxing in 1992 when I was 11 years old. And I was just a kid, from the streets. I lived in Brooklyn. I saw a lot of stuff growing up, things that kids shouldn't see at that age. And really, my pops was such a big fan of boxing that, he always had, we were always either going to my family's house to watch the fights, or, they would come to our house, or, and I just got drawn to it, and it was kind of like my dad, I would say, planted the seed in my head. And then my mom was the one that took action. She was the one that brought me to the gym. Me and my brother, we started boxing in 92, as I said. And, the rest is history. So the transition from fighter to coach was it was a little weird, I would say, because I never really thought that I would be a coach. I never had aspirations to be a coach when I was a fighter. But I think that my love and my passion for boxing, just being in the gym and kind of being around my coach at the time, who was a great coach, his name was Dave Clark from Miami. Being around him and picking his brain, and seeing other coaches not be that good. And like naturally, I just started coaching, and it really was like, it just kind of happened. Like my coach used to tell me all the time, "You're gonna be a great coach. You're gonna be a great coach." And I'll be like, "Nah, trust me. You're gonna be a great coach." And I ended up saying, like, you know what? Like, if I'm gonna take this coaching thing further, I feel like I need to move back to Brooklyn. And so I ended up coming back to my roots at around 2010, and I came to a gym right away, and I just started helping. I didn't really, like, I was a little bit lost, I ain't gonna lie, but everything kicked in. I picked up right where I left off in Miami. I just started helping people, and I think it was just my natural ability, my natural love for boxing that kind of drove me, and I started training like actual, amateur fighters. And from there, we started winning, and I went like on a crazy win streak where even like whoever I trained, whether it was a young kid or a novice or an open fighter or whatever, we started winning tournaments. And I realized then, like, wow, like I got a thing for developing fighters, for creating them from scratch, and it hasn't stopped since. It's not my first rodeo.